and ask these geniuses to come up and join us. Walter is from Walter Presents, and GSN is the company that runs it. Marike is from Lumière, and Ivar is from NRK. Welcome up. Good to see you all. I think people may have an idea of who you are, but let's do like a round of presentation, where we can also answer this question: who are you, and how do you work with television? In what way do you work with television? If you just do it like briefly, Marike, let's start.
We are Lumière Group from the Benelux, offices in Ghent and Amsterdam. What we do with television is we distribute it, all rights. We co-produce it, we produce it, we develop ourselves. And we also have our own EST platform, electronic sell-through, where we sell TV series to our audience directly.
Ivar?
Yeah, my name is Ivar Køhn. I'm not working with television, I'm working in television. I'm head of drama at the Norwegian broadcaster, and yeah, I do the thing that the head of drama is usually doing.
Which has changed a little bit over the last few years, but that's fair. Walter?
My name is WalterIuzzolino. I'm the curator of Walter Presents, which is a VOD service built on the best foreign language drama offered to Anglo-American audiences with English subtitles. We have an office in London. We have been funded by Channel 4, so our relationship with television is that we coexist within the Channel 4 ecosystem in the UK. We have a strand on the channel, and then we exist as an individual channel in their on-demand offering, and that's AVOD. And in the US, where we have an office in New York, we are an SVOD, direct-to-consumer niche SVOD channel.
You speak really fast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so I will remind you that we are not all native speakers,
right,
just like breathe a little. And yeah, it's fantastic, very interesting. And the model that you are in a way already, Walter Presents, is a brand that can operate with their very different business models.
They call it amphibious, I believe.
Amphibious.
Quite slimy, but I quite like it. It jumps from one thing to the next, leaving a trail of saliva, I suppose.
Ivar.
No, meaning that literally it's VOD, it's on demand, it's direct to consumer, it's ad funded, and it's a traditional television linear strand. So yeah. That's a frog that jumps.
Ivar, you said in the report, you say that if somebody approaches a project by saying, we need to make a show that fits this slot, then they are doing it completely wrong. Why is that?
Well, at the NRK we have actually stopped with slot, meaning that we have to fill a slot for the drama. We have, of course, news and so on, but the slot for drama is not existing. We think that we can't pick a project because it's fit a slot. We have to pick the project that have the quality to be picked by its own, actually, and that's. So that's we need to find that quality, and it's also because of the player. We think the player is the most important place for drama. The online player. The online player. We care about the channels, but actually we are giving priority to the player. And to be picked on player, you need to just to stand out as the show has to be great. It's very different from the old way of thinking, where when someone served drama to the people a certain day. We are going from a serving people to we need to be picked in a different way. So just thinking about filling the slot, I think that's then you probably select or you have not probably, but it's a chance that you pick the show for the wrong reason. You pick it for filling some slot and not for the quality of it.
I'm realizing, Marike, that actually you guys are also way ahead of the curve on this, because you used to release TV drama on DVD before it had screened. It's a complicated reason, but it makes perfect sense. And you found out that it worked really well. So how would you say, like, what is the secret of recognizing a show? What kind of show is picked rather than consumed?
Picked rather than consumed?
Yeah, what kind of show will the consumer make the active choice of buying on DVD or going on a player and to watch instead of just like being washed over?
Right. I think that all has to do with, the show has to be good, obviously, but as you just said, there are so many shows nowadays and there's kind of something for everyone. I think it has to do with smart marketing and PR. And I think it also nowadays has to do with what you said, smart search engines and easy ways to find a show that you like, which we don't have at the moment. I mean, you need to sign up to how many subscription services at the moment to see what you want to watch? It would be nice to have like one content navigating system or something that will tell you, okay, that you can watch there, that you can watch there, and like divert you to that platform straight away.
And on Channel 4, Walter, you guys sometimes do premieres. Can you explain how that works?
That's interesting. It's an ever-evolving experiment. Am I slower? What's interesting is that when we launched this, everybody at Channel 4 understood the value and the pleasure there is to be had from great international drama. And in all fairness, the BBC had started the trend because that's where they launched Spiral and The Killing in the Bridge, and they will forever have to be thanked for that. But that was only a fairly narrow take on what international drama might be, and Channel 4 recognised that there was a chance to go broader than that. But they are Channel 4, and they're not in the business of showing Swedish drama in prime time all the time. And so it was, that experiment was a result of a challenge. They understood that when you play a drama in a big prime time slot, it tends to do well, unless it's a terrible drama. If you market it well, we launched with Deutschland 83, and it was a very, very big success for us. But we can't have 52 slots of primetime Channel 4 over the year. And so, and we had too many good shows. And so the desire, and that came from Channel 4, was why don't we try, and instead of betting everything on 1 or 2 properties a year, which we'll keep doing anyway, but if we have 20, 30 amazing shows a year, why don't we reflect the Netflix world where you message a show and you launch it, and from that day the show drops. And if you want, you pick it up, and if you don't want to. And so which is...
So drops means then it's online,
yeah,
and you can watch it when you can.
That's why I very much believe in the convergence between linear and non-linear, because there was an experiment purely out of we were in trouble and we needed to find a way out of it. But actually, the chief creative officer at Channel 4 said, I love these 6 shows you mentioned to me. I'd like to transmit all of them. I don't have enough slots. Why don't we try and launch 1 a month in a big primetime slot with 2-week trails, press, promotion, marketing. So you say to people, watch this Spanish female prison show because it's worth it. You show program 1 and the rest is immediately available online on demand. And that has played spectacular dividends because we realized that the number of people that catch up on demand is almost the same as people who, if you had to play the entire run on prime time. And to me, that's a very interesting balance between this Netflix world where you want it all and you want it now, and also the old traditional promotional real estate that a linear channel can offer, which I think is very valuable. It's what you were saying earlier. I think that if you're smart in running a channel now, you know you're not running BBC One or Channel 4, you're running the iPlayer or you're running all 4. And that's what you need to do. You need to corral that audience away from pay, because there's obviously room for Netflix. But if you want to retain your audience, you lure them into a place where they don't have to pay and they enjoy great content.
Marike, did you want to come in also?
Yeah, I think the people on the publishing department, we who make the content, that's kind of old-fashioned. We just have to make good content and try to make the best and find the best and make the quality. But the people in the publishing department, from being a lazy scheduling people that just fill the slots, they have really to think now. They really have to go into every single program. And discuss with themselves and with us and with everyone about how to market and how to show just that show. And we see that in AK we try, and I think a lot of broadcasters now try a lot of things. We binge some because we think it's better to binge them, or we send 2 a week or once a week, or not on the linear, or just only on the platform, first on the platform. Not it's so confusing. So the people who know doing the publishing, I'm happy I'm not one of them, actually. They have the confusing world. Yeah.
So it comes down to marketing then and PR, basically. Yeah, well, I think a few distributors, we have been able to establish ourselves as a brand as well. Having, let's say that we team up with our producers, we team up with the people that we work with, we organize events, for example. We partner up with IKEA and organize a premiere of Hustle in there, where people can actually sit in small little living rooms in the evening and watch a new show.
With meatballs.
With meatballs, exactly, and champagne. We organize a festival every year where people can watch TV in a cinema all day and pay 30 euros for that. And we invite all our talent over there. But we also try and create partnerships with our SVOD platforms that we sell to with our TV stations, because I feel there's so much content out there right now that if you don't target, people will not find it. You have to help even your TV stations and your platforms to get the show out there and make people want to watch it, because they might not do it themselves.
Ivar says in the report that one thing that happens with this way of thinking is that suddenly world drama can travel better. Do you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's amazing. It's an amazing. I was thinking about it earlier when you were so brilliantly describing your insightful research. The truth is, we live in a world where now, because there's so much, and it's so splintered, and it's so global, it's like a chaotic Neapolitan market. So it's a chaotic street market. But that's more exciting because you have to haggle your way through it. And I think that much as the big American players, and I understand that because I'd be thinking in exactly the same ways, try to structure and normalize an equation of ROI. You invest, you distribute, you earn, and it's a lovely cycle. It's not like that. It's never, ever going to be like that, because as you said, if Facebook decided that they want to do bing, they would do it and we're all dead the next day. So, but that's exciting because it means that within this chaos, new business models are born all the time, and the value of curation. And I think Lumière is a wonderful example as well, because actually you're first and foremost a sort of historical, slightly mythical cinema. So your DNA is like the honest DNA of an old-fashioned brand, which is sort of reinvented for a new generation. And so you curate, you don't just distribute or co-acquire. And I think that that's the joy of the crazy market, is that actually it's never going to be a straight line, but there's room for everyone to thrive in it.
And maybe the idea of the niche, like when we say that the niches will do better, is not just because it's clearer, it's also because you can find, I think as you say, you can find the people in Norway who think that Danish drama is the best. And that group may not be big enough necessarily for a primetime slot, but they can be super loyal on the platforms.
But it's a crazy marketplace for us, but it's also a crazy marketplace for the consumers. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though. I think at the moment it's too fragmented.
It is.
For myself as a consumer,
it is. But at the same time, I think it is exciting because to me it's akin to. I mean, I remember when I got my first job in Telly, and that tells you how bloody old I am. Is that I was excited about my first email address, and I remember thinking, I'm never going to use this. How is it going to be useful? And I used to fax my release forms through, thinking, yeah, I'm going to get the fax through. And he goes, but I literally remember the excitement of typing an email, thinking, how are they going to read it? And it's not dissimilar right now. The excitement of being able to search the internet, or Google, or the first Yahoo, whatever that was called. It was there. And now I think we're still a bit too early to understand how we navigate that thing. But the truth is, we are in an era where you find what you look for. Do you like French opera of the Second Empire? There's a VOD channel dedicated to that. And you can reach it straight away. You can be in the middle of the country and you go, French opera, click, and then that gets to the channel, $5, you can watch every bloody French opera ever been made in the Second Empire. So I think for consumers it's exciting that so much knowledge is available. And you're right, how you streamline your access to it is important. But at the end of the day, sometimes I look at my nephew, who's much younger than me, and I go, how does he consume? Well, he has no idea about channels. Frankly, he would never pay for Netflix because he's young and he doesn't have money, he doesn't care. He just Googles stuff. When he can, he rips it off. And when he can't, he just goes to a free AVOD piece. And he finds his way through. His children, when he has them, will find their way through even more easily somehow. So I just
I think that there is, I think also, Marike, that there has to be something to that. We need those beacons or like it could be trusted curators or the trusted brands. And here I do think that public service in particular has a sort of legacy position, also a mission. And the reason that public service exists is that there's a specific mission. But I think that might translate well to this new age. Christian Ranka from DR today said that we have to ask ourselves what the role of the public broadcasting should be. And I will ask you all that. Ivar, start.
Yeah, as NRK, we are kind of have strategy goals saying that we should develop the democracy, actually, and also make a common people, or have common experiences. I think that's very important, a part of the broadcaster. And you're talking about something that we talk about a lot. The way the public broadcaster has been is that you go in and see something, and you see something you didn't know you wanted to see, and you watch it, and it's a broad scale of programs. And how can we transmit that over to the digital world, where people just go and pick, and how can we manage to make the audience to see the broad schedule of good programs we have, and we are working now with, and it's very different when you had the linear way, the linear schedule. It was always the news that brought people into the program, so that was the driver into the lead in, most important lead in. But that doesn't work on the streaming things. It's no people who watch Netflix or the player to see the news. It's different things. So now we have to reconsider. But we want that people still, if NRK should be relevant for the people, it's not to be Netflix or not to be HBO, but it's to still to be NRK as a public broadcaster with a wide range of programs, and we need to get them into the player.
Marike, what do you think? What's the role of public broadcasting?
I think, unfortunately, in the Benelux, what we're seeing right now, that at least in terms of TV drama, they are moving. They are trying to desperately compete with Netflix and HBO and kind of acquiring the same shows, which I think is a bad decision, because indeed they should do something completely different. They should take that more cultural role. They should dare to be bold and acquire shows that would normally not be acquired by commercial broadcasters and platforms. There's an interesting example in the Benelux. You said, or was it 3 years ago, that you would never program something from HBO?
Yeah, I might have said that, yes.
She's going to catch you now, careful.
So I think it's the first time, but Canvas, our Belgian broadcaster, they just broadcasted Big Little Lies, and it was a huge, massive success. And I think even Belgium hadn't even heard about the show before, because HBO is tucked away in a pay TV proposition and doesn't have an OTT as a proposition. So it can mean something for a broadcaster as well. But I think that eventually the public broadcasters are also going to become brands, are going to become players in a way. And what they should do is program different and daring drama on that.
But also, I think that again, spinning forward, and I quite like I like a state of permanent crisis, because I think it makes it more creatively interesting. But if we imagine that the crisis that we discuss about terrestrial linear broadcasting is there, and it's probably worse than we think, and your job would be fine. But I think that the job is a bigger job, because you're talking about engaging a broad national terrestrial audience, right? And then Netflix's job is just to make a lot of money and get everybody to subscribe. However, I think there's something to be said for a role of a broadcaster that takes my money, whether I want it or not, because it's my money. And in time, I hope, but maybe I'm too much of a geek, that it evolves into the same thing that you think about in terms of museums and national trust, where a country preserves its excellence. You look after your Van Gogh and you look after your Rembrandt. And so there's something in taking money from residents and people who live in a country to ensure that their culture is distilled and protected, whether it's narrative, whether it's a TV show. And it's not so much about, oh, BBC One should win against Channel 4 on a daytime show about grandmother's knitting. It's more about how do you take these billions from audiences and actually convert them into exquisite programming that somehow needs to be decoupled from the need to rate, because Netflix, and it's their strength, and I admire that, don't give a fuck about whether something rates or not. You never find out whether a program has been streaming to 1 million or 10 million people. They don't want to tell you. Why should they tell you?
I don't think we should be...
I have to begin to say we have very little time, so briefly, go.
Well, I don't think we should be a museum. I don't like the way of...
No, but I meant the role the museum has. Do you know what I mean?
We get it. We just need a better word.
I think we have to be very relevant for our audience. We have to be
museum is irrelevant.
Yeah, no, well,
let's not get into that right now. Okay, let's let Ivar talk. Okay, go.
I like you, by the way.
You want to be relevant for today. I completely agree.
How are you going to be relevant? Relevant. If we are not relevant for the audience today, we are not. We have no. We shouldn't be there. So we need to be relevant. Okay, a museum is relevant, but it's not relevant to be an archive where you can go and see the old thing and the big name. You have to be relevant that people go into it. And TV for people today is to be entertained, to get something more, to feel that they use the time a little bit better than they really do, to get some more. Okay, I don't know.
Marike and
not a museum. We are on our way to a museum. We should not be it.
I want to move.
Marike.
You should be relevant, definitely. No, you touched upon something interesting that we haven't talked about today, because I really liked looking at Frederick's financing examples, because that is exactly what is happening right now. But you will not see any extra revenues if you sell to an asphalt platform. You will also not see data, and that's what you just touched upon. Not sure if you give out data to you don't.
Yeah, I do taste that.
So we can fight about that in the bar later. I'm really sorry, we are running out of time. But this just shows you should clearly read the report to which all of these brilliant people have contributed. You can find it on the festivals when you just go to the industry homepage and click on Nostradamus. You can find it there on Friday afternoon. You can also find the information about the other Nostradamus seminar in your industry guide. Andrea is looking at me a little bit nervous.
No, fine.
We're fine.
You're fine.
I have 5.
No, not
you have 5. No, that's what I thought.
Exactly.
So we need to do all the practical information.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much.
Pleasure.
This is their faces. You're going to want to grab them and ask them the last things. Thank you so much, Walter, Ivar, and Marike. Thank you.